First and foremost, I want to give all the honors, praises, glory belongs to Yahweh by Sham Yahushai, by Hashem Mohab Quadash. Honors to the apostles that are in the Holy Spirit, and to the hopeful elect across the globe, and to the few, I mean a very few, brothers and sisters that are listening and also learning in hopes of being saved within these last days, because you know we're living in the last days of the last days. So we're going to continue to let the Spirit flow. Yeah, you got the occult out here today, this morning. The occult. You got the human traffickers out here as well, thinking that they're onto something. You're not going to stop the words, man. What can you do? You can't stop this word. Walking around here like chicken heads. The word is coming out. You understand? Whether they will hear or whether they will forbear. Right? Gotcha. You ain't got nothing. What have you got? If you ain't got your Habasha, you ain't got nothing. Saying you got something. What have you got? You ain't got nothing, man. The enemy's deceived. You're deceived. And the enemy's deceived because you're serving the enemy. Anyway, let's get to it. We're going to jump straight to Ecclesiastes 16. Be not righteous over much. Brothers got to find balance within this truth. That's why it says, be not righteous over much. Okay? Neither make thyself overwise. Why shouldn't thou destroy thyself? So it also says, don't make yourself overwise, because you could end up destroying yourself because of that. Be not overmuch wicked, neither be thou foolish. Make sure you're not being foolish out here. Okay? Why shouldst thou die before thy time? So we want to make sure we have a healthy balance within the scriptures. We want to make sure we're balanced in everything we do. Okay? We don't really need to harp on about gang stalking and all that. Gang stalking is just another form of human trafficking. Cloaked as gang stalking. Cloaked as concern. Yeah, so people do it. Cloaked as concern. The reason why it's done because it's demonic spirits that are being used by witches, warlocks, covens, trying to push a narrative. And rarely because the enemy is scared. So gang stalking is human trafficking. That's why you're going to see a lot of people with prams walking past. Yeah, prams, right? Children. And sometimes it's women. It varies. Sometimes it's drugs. Okay? So this is what the enemy's pushing. The enemy's pushing Satanism. That's what the enemy's pushing. The enemy's pushing filth. That's what the enemy's pushing. So you're going to see a lot of these warlocks and witches and some of these different groups walk past and so forth. Because that's what's being pushed now. Okay? This is the occult. And the occult, they push wickedness. Okay? So when you see what's going on around you, it's members of what you would call the so-called secret society. Okay? And they push agendas. Whose agendas are they pushing? The elite's agendas. Why? Because they're under mind control. Simple as that. But now you know, guess what we're supposed to do? Stay rooted in the truth. And don't be moved by what anybody else is doing around you. If they want to watch you, let them watch you. Yahweh is watching them. Don't let these people scare you or trick you out of your blessing. They do that out of fear of what you're going to speak about. Because they don't know what you're going to speak about. But they're hoping you don't speak about these topics right here. Why? Because it exposes them. It exposes them. That's why they just want you to shut up and go die in a corner somewhere. Because you're speaking the truth. Wicked people. Wicked. So it says, verse 19, wisdom strengtheneth the wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. So this is what's strengthening. Wisdom is strengthening. Wisdom strengthens you. Okay? The wise more than 10 mighty men which are in the city. So you can have strong men, even military men, but that man that has wisdom is much more powerful than the man, them 10 mighty men within that city. Why? Because he's using wisdom to overcome the mighty man. The man might just be mighty, big muscles, but not have the wisdom of the scriptures. Okay? For there is not a just man upon earth that doeth good and sinneth not. So it just says, there's not a just man that doeth good and sinneth not. So we all sin, but guess what the difference is? The elect are the elect. The elect sinning don't stop them from being of the elect. Okay? Also take heed. Also take no heed unto the words that are spoken. Lest I hear thy servant curse thee. Right? For oftentimes also thy own heart knoweth that thyself likewise has cursed others. All this have I proved by wisdom. I said I will be wise, but it was far from me. That which is afar off and exceedingly deep, who can find it? So it says that which is far from exceedingly deep, who can find it? Speaking about the wisdom. Okay? I applied my heart to know and search and seek out wisdom and the reason of things, and to know the wickedness of folly, even of foolishness and madness. So Solomon, he searched out everything he can imagine. Everything upon earth. Foolishness, madness, all of it. That's what a wise man's going to do. Search out wickedness. What's good for you and what's not good for you. That's what we're supposed to do. Find out what's good for you and find out what's not so good for you. That's a wise man. And he says, I apply my heart to know the reason of things, and folly and foolishness and madness. I find more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets. Be careful of that woman, brothers. Be careful of these women, bro. They're about nets and witchcraft. Listen, witchcraft is on the rise. Her feet is snares and nets, traps. And it says, whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands is bands, trap you up. Your woman's thinking how she can trap you up. How she can get you ensnared by all that witchcraft. You know these women, they read books on how they can trap a man. How they could put spells on men. And their work colleagues, and their boss. You know that, right? And he says, whoso pleaseth God, Yahweh, shall escape from her. But the sinner shall be taken by her. So we better pray that Yahweh shall, if you do see a woman, it's the right woman. And you're not taken by that woman. Better pray that. Because the things that are going on out here are, you wouldn't believe it. See what else we got. Isaiah 19 quickly. And 3. The spirit of Egypt shall fall in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. So the spirit of Egypt, what is it? Confusion. Perversity. Egypt, they dealt in incense. Incest. Right? And that's what they do the same thing again today. What? Incest. They practice that today. And I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to idols. So that's what they're going to be doing, seeking to these dumb idols. Okay? And it says, and to charmers. So they're also seeking to charmers as well. That's all witchcraft. You shouldn't be dealing with charms. Have you ever saw them little charms they got on their legs? Charms they have on their wrists? That's called charming. All right? That's another form of what you would call witchcraft. Okay? This is the methods they use. This is the methods they have. Okay? But we're not going to be charmed. The elect cannot be charmed. You understand? And to them that have familiar spirits, a lot of the people that are walking past you, they're either part of the occult or they have some type of form of familiar spirit. So what they're trying to do is also get familiar with our patterns. That's why you see all the people out here today. You see all these people? They want to get familiar with you. What does familiar mean? Obey. That word obey means familiar. So these are familiar spirits of the enemy that want to get familiar with you. Okay? And that's how they clock your patterns, through familiarity. That's why they watch wherever you go, they need to be there to get familiar. That's how demons can what? Clock your movement. So these are spirits that are using these people. They're part of the occult. They're part of organizations, bro. They're probably a part of your trafficking rings as well. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. So we're bringing out the truth and we're bringing out it raw and rugged. Hello there, you got time for the Bible? Oh, yeah. All right. You got this woman that has the constellations on her top, right? These are occultists, man. Why are they out so early? It's Sunday. They're not working. They're not working. Well, a few people are working on Sundays. If you're a lawyer or something, you may be working. Or an accountant. The people, they're not going to work. So where are they going then? If they're not going to work, where are they going? You see? You see? That's how you know a system's going down. When people ain't got nothing else to do except walk around and watch those that speak, that's how you know a system is going down. And there's nothing they can do about it. What can you do? What can you do? See, they want to convince you that. Don't fall for the matrix. What can you do? They're in a vicious circle of madness because they started that. They started that. So now they have to reap their own actions. They have to reap the consequences of their actions now. They have to do that. They have to do that. Reap the actions of their consequences. There's consequences beyond your actions. There's consequences to certain things you do. You know that, right? You know? There's consequences, bro. Real talk. There's consequences. Then you'll find out there's certain torturing rings as well. Not just trafficking rings, torturing rings. So these people are also trying to get you tortured. All this is coming out. All this is coming out. It's all coming out. The truth is coming out. See what else we got. And the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel lord. And the first king shall rule over them, saith the Lord of hosts. Okay? So we're in them times right now. And America is known as what? Sodom. And spiritually is known as Egypt as well. That's why within the dollar bill, you got a capstone. Why have they got a capstone on a dollar bill? Why would they have that? Capstone on a dollar bill, man. Huh? Because it's Egypt. Okay? And Egypt had what? A centralized system. What do they want in America and in the UK? A centralized system. A one world government. Capstone pyramids. Okay? And it also has a web. What does that web mean? That web means you're entangled, man. And in Timothy's it says, be not entangled with the affairs of this world, a good soldier. So we're soldiers. And we ain't to be entangled with the affairs of this world, that we may please him who have called us to be a soldier. So that's what Yahushua has called us to be. Soldiers of Yahushua. Of his majesty, man. We ain't out here to just do nothing. We out here to serve a purpose, man. So if you're out here, you have to serve your purpose. You can't let people stop you. Because if you let them stop you, that's your fault. You're dealing with algorithms now. People are literally bots. You're not even talking to real people. You're talking to bots. You could be talking to a computer program. And you're thinking that's a real person. But that's not even a real person. And when you talk to them, they're relaying that because it's a machine, it's a human, in the form of a machine. So that information that you just told them is now getting relayed to the other, what you call bots. And this is how they're able to synchronize. And another thing, they're able to use, what do you call it? Trigger points. So the trigger points are according to what? What you don't like. That's why you got to be careful of these devices. Because behind these devices, guess what you could have? A heart monitor, which they do have. And you could have, when you're nervous, they have technology to know, say if I'm nervous. They can pick up on that. And I know they have this as well. Because I've heard people say he's panicking. How would they know if I'm panicking? Hmm? How would they know if I'm happy? So they've got these devices. They've got these devices, man, on their phone. So don't be afraid of it. But no, this man he's a mad scientist. Mad scientist. So we got to be on point. Stop taking the same route. Stop doing the same thing. Because you make yourself predictable. Then you're easy to be what? Tracked and hunted like a wild animal. Remember, this is a predatory system, as you can see. That's why you got to move in wisdom now. If you go to the same shop, stop going to the same shop. Go to another shop. Okay? If you go to the same park, switch parks. Don't go to the same park. Because that's what's being brought and marked down on the algorithm. The algorithm is the Internet of Things. Going to Thessalonians. We told you, lying signs and wonders and miracles. That's being done by tech. And the occult members, guess what they deal with? They love technology because they're connected to it. What do you call it? Telepathic. They got the telepathic technology. And a lot of them are what you call psychics. A lot of them are psychics as well. So some of you are getting psychic attacks. It's spiritual warfare. That's why you have to change certain things from time to time. Change certain things. Change certain habits. So you're not easily accessible. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be easily accessible to the enemy. You understand? A lot of these cars, guess what? You got self-driving cars now. Revelations 13:16. And he calls of all, both small, great, rich, free, born to receive a mark, forehead, or in what? The hand. That's a digital system. Don't you get it? A lot of these cars are self-driving cars. You can press a button, they're all in cruise control. This is the way it goes now. Right? This is the mark of the beast. The system is here. The technology is here. Right? Brothers start get prepared, man. Well, you want to be outside of the system when all this goes down. A lot of you are too worldly. Scripture says, love not the world. Now, I love music. Yesterday, I was drinking a little bit, and I was dancing to music. But put the truth first. I want to go to, hold this one. You know these people that you see around you, they've sold out to the system. You know that, right? They've sold out to the system. So really, they're your enemy. Whether you like it or not, they're your enemy. They've sold out to the system. Why do you think they watch you? Because you're the anomaly. You're the variable. You're the one that can change things. And yes, you are unpredictable. If you weren't unpredictable, then they wouldn't need to watch you, would they? See what else we got. This is Corinthians. Right, so we're going to start at 1 Corinthians chapter 4. Let a man so account of us as of ministers of Mashiach and stewards of the ministries of God. Moreover, it is required in stewards that a man may be found faithful. So a steward is like a servant, and he must be found faithful. So we want to be faithful within what we're doing. If we're a steward, guess what we're doing? We're serving. That's what a steward does. A steward serves people. So we're here to steward, but not to anyone, to the hopeful elect. We're here to serve you. And it says, moreover, it is required in stewards that a man may be found faithful. So if you're doing this, you're gonna have faith. That's why we get put in hard positions so you can require faith. That's why you get backed into a corner so you can have faith. You understand? Because the faith, that's what's going to help you. Having faith. That's what's going to get you to that point where you need to be within the truth. Faith. Why? Because without faith, it is impossible to please the Lord. So that's what we're going to have. That's what we're going to require. And that pleases Yahweh Shai. When we exercise that. You know that, right? See what else we got. But with me, it is a very small thing that I should be judged of you. Of a man's judgment, yet I judge not my own self. For I know nothing by myself. Yet I am not hereby justified. But he that judgeth me is the Lord Jehovah Shai. Therefore, judge nothing before the time, because you've got men, they want to make assumptions and judgments on other brothers. Judge nothing before the time. Why? Because you could be wrong. It's not that you can't judge, but not before the time. Why? Because the ultimate judge is Yahweh Shai. Don't judge anything before his time, brothers. Okay? Sometimes you gotta let time take his hand. Time deal his hand. And over time you see, right? And it says, until the Lord Yahweh shall come, who both will bring to light the hidden things of darkness. Alright? Because even some things I'm talking about, I could be wrong. I talk about trafficking and this and that. I could be wrong. That's why it says judge nothing before his time. Why? Because the Lord's going to bring everything that's in darkness to light eventually. That's what you need to know. Everything to light, everything. So don't be too quick to judge and say, see, I think they're doing that. Take your time. Because it might not be what you think. I could be wrong. I don't think I am though, because my judgment is from Yahweh Shai. I like to step back. Sometimes I like to step back. Sometimes I like to analyze. I don't like to make fast judgments. Because a lot of the time it's wrong when you do that. So ultimately, Yahweh Shai is going to bring the hidden things, right? The hidden things of darkness. What does that mean? The hidden things of in secret. Darkness, the hidden things that are evil. He's going to bring that to light. And it says, and I will make manifest the counsels. So there's certain counsels, brothers. This is going to make it manifest. There's counsels that are being had, man. In secret. And the counsels of the hearts, and then shall every man have praise of God. So you know the secret counsels that are being had. Job 5:12. He disappointeth the devices of the crafty, so their hands cannot perform their enterprise. There's counsels being had on brothers, man. Every day, what are we going to do about this guy? How can we stop him? There's secret counsels, there's secret meetings. So we got to be aware of those things. Hello? Time for the Bible. You're Indian, man. Yo, beautiful. Oh my God. You're alive, Mama Kishana. So the hidden counsels, Mama Kishana. But this is another thing. The women. We're going to get everything as well. Even in the kingdom, you're going to get those women in the kingdom as well. Listen, we're going to get our heart's desire. Do not be moved from the hope of the gospel. Do not be moved from the hope of the gospel. Sometimes you're going to feel a little bit worn out. That's natural. You're gonna feel worn out sometimes. No, no, no. In our weakness, guess what? We are perfected in our weakness. Sometimes you're gonna have a thorn in the flesh to keep you humble. Right? I thought the ambulance was gonna turn on the sirens. How did I know? I knew the ambulance was gonna do that. That was it. Oh dear. Let this go past. Yes, brother. How you doing today? You okay? Oh, for sure. How did I know? How did I know the ambulances were gonna do that? See, bro, it's that sixth sense. It's that sixth sense. Brothers are got that discernment. know what I'm saying? That's a power, brothers. When you know what people are going to do before they do it, bro, nothing trumps that. Nothing beats that. That is spiritual power on the highest level. When you know what someone's going to do before they do it. Come on, bro. Them type of gifts, you can use that in your everyday life, in the workplace. Come on. And another thing I want to say about this program, we're going to go back to scriptures. All right, listen to this now. Some of you are not going to accept it. If you're this main character, you're the main star, you have the ability to change your environment. What do I mean by that when I say that? You're the main character. Guess what that means? You can change your environment. If there's people that watch you, Baba Kishak, you can change all that. Hello? Jesus is Negro. Thank you. That's all right. You're welcome. Baba Kishak. So we have power. Over those things. They say thank you. They want you to be their scapegoat. They're looking for a scapegoat as well. Thank you. We want your blood. Baba Kishak. So just know that. Baba Kishak. Baba Kishak. And one man walked past me and called me boss. Yeah, because the demons have a boss. And they're subject to the word. They are subjected to this word. Okay, yeah, all demons have a boss, man. But they call you boss, but they want to bring down the boss. So that's a lot of these people, they don't have integrity. Why you calling me boss, but you want to try and bring down the boss? I'm hopefully a hopeful elect. They want to bring down the boss. You got people who call you boss, but they want to bring down their boss. That's like you working and you're trying to get your boss fired. People are disloyal. People are not loyal, man. See what else we got. And it says, and these things, brethren, have I in a figure transferred to myself and to Apollos for your sakes, but you might learn in us not to think of men above that which is written. But none of one of you be puffed up once against another. So, Paul, we had to kind of, stay lowly, because man can think of you above what you are. Don't call me boss, man. Right? I don't want them titles, man. A boss bosses you about. I don't boss no one about. People giving you these high titles. They want you to be their Messiah. They want you to be their sacrifice. That's what they want. All right? That's what they want. And it says, these are occultists, Brother Kishad. It says, but you might learn in us not to think of men above that which is written, and no one of you be puffed up against another. So guess what? We're not supposed to be puffed up one against another. We're supposed to be humble within this truth, not puffed up. Okay? That's Yahweh is dealing with the meek, the lowly, the contrite. That's who he's dealing with. See what else we get? And it says, but you might learn in us not to think of men above that which is written, that not one of you be puffed up for one against another. You've got that within camps as well. Men that are competing with each other in camps. You've got men that overtalk each other in camps. That's called disorder. And we know the Lord Yahweh is not the author of confusion. Let another man speak. Sometimes, bro, I've been it when you've been at camp and I ain't said nothing. I might just say, during that whole camp time, I might just say about 40 or 50 words during the whole camp. So, bro, sometimes that happens. You don't always need to talk. And that's how you gain wisdom as well, by silence. Not always by speaking, because you're going to learn more when you keep your ears open. And less speaking, you're going to learn more. If you're always speaking, you're not really taking in a lot. That was a code I learned from young. Sometimes, how I got to where I got right now was going to camp, being on the other side, and listening. Sometimes it would be 2 hours. I may say 2 or 3 words. That's it. And I would listen. I didn't have a whole lot to say, because you don't really know anything when you first come in. That's how you become seasoned. That's how you learn. Just like when you go to school. What happens when you go to school? You have to put your hand up. But you have to listen to the teacher, right? And that's how you actually learn. While the teacher's talking. You don't interrupt the teacher, do you? You put your hand up. Same thing, same principle with the truth. That's how you grow. That's why it says, be more ready to hear than give the sacrifice of a fool. For they consider not that they do evil. So there's a lot of people that don't consider that they're doing evil. You got to be more ready to hear than to speak all the time. Because that's how you're actually going to learn. That's how you're actually going to grow. Just a bit of advice. And it works. You should have a notepad as well. You just coming up here nodding your heads. You got people that just nod their heads. Say, yeah, yeah. You should have a notepad. Pen, pencil. Write these things down. That's what I was doing. I was coming up to camp, writing scriptures down, memorizing it. Then the Lord stops with you. I'm thinking about Revelations. This is heavy. But I want to continue on this. Right? Let's finish off on this. 1 Corinthians 4 and 9. For I think God hath set forth us the apostles last, as it were appointed to death. For we are made a spectacle unto the world, and to angels, and to men. So what a spectacle right now. You know that, right? We are a spectacle unto men, and to angels. So what we're doing, it may seem strange. Like, why is he doing that? Why is he standing on the street corner? Raise his voice. What a spectacle. You know that, right? To angels as well. The angels are watching like, wow, look what he's doing. See, not anybody could just do this. It takes a certain type of spirit. Okay? You got to have a certain spirit to come out here and do what we do. Not everybody can do this. And it says, we are fools for Mashiach's sake, but you are wise in Mashiach. We are weak, but you are strong. You are honorable, but we are despised. Even unto this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked and are buffeted and have no certain dwelling place. Naked, buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place. It doesn't mean you don't have a place to rest your head. What that means is, where you're living, it's not sure you will stay there. We have no certain dwelling place. You might have to move from place to place. That's how we're living. We're living as pilgrims, man. That's how we're living as pilgrims up on earth. It says no certain dwelling place. That means we move from place to place. Okay? That's how our lives are supposed to be. We are uncertain in some ways. Uncertain. Our lives are not supposed to be certain here. That's why this truth is so interesting, because you never know what's exactly going to happen. That's why it's so interesting. From day to day, anything can change. Anything. And that's what makes this truth very exciting. It's suspense. That's what it's called, right? The element of surprise. Anything can happen. Anything. And that's exciting. It's like a movie. Our lives are literally like movies. But it's the Lord's movie. It's Yahushua movie. He's orchestrating this. Right? He's the one that's orchestrating this. Okay? And it says, even to this present hour, we both hunger and thirst and are naked and buffeted, and have no certain dwelling place. And labor working with our hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we what? Suffer it. So we suffer it. Being persecuted, we suffer that. Got people talk about suffering. No, you're still going to suffer for your wickedness. Don't get it twisted. The elect, they suffer for the right causes. Got men going out into the highways talking about vocab Malone. Oh, vocab Malone, he's persecuting us. And GMS, they're the only camp that has truth. That's no. The Lord James ain't did him with one camp. He's did him with the elect. You still in that mentality. Your thinking ain't grown, man. You ain't evolved from your camp thinking. This is about the elect, the 144,000 and the 1/3. That's what this is about. And they're going to be saved from the impending dangers to come upon the earth. Okay? That's what you got to realize. And if you don't know, now you know. And it says, labor working with our hands, being without we bless, being persecuted we suffer it, being defamed. Oh yeah, another thing. Defamation, right? Am I saying it right? Is it defamation? You got people that try to defamation. Where you're living, there's people that try to defame your character. But the reason why that's happening because you got a good character. That's why you don't need to defame someone unless you want to destroy their character. We still entreat you with what? The words. See, that shows our character. And it says, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world. We're made as the filth of the world. Keep the filth. That's how some of these men are looking at us like, filth. Like, that's how the world perceives some of us. And the offscoring of all things unto this day, I write not these things to shame you. It's not to shame you. It's so you have an understanding of what you're involved in. But as my beloved sons, I warn you. Right? So we're being warned, brothers. As my beloved sons, I'm going to warn you of these things. Okay? And when you know these things, it's to comfort you. Okay? Everything we have in these scriptures is so how it shall comfort you. You shall have tribulation, but it says, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. Be of good cheer. You shall have tribulation. So you're supposed to be of a good cheer. Be of a good mind. So you're supposed to be somewhat cheerful. It doesn't mean you're going to be walking around grinning, but you're supposed to be of a good cheer. A good mind, a right mind, because you already know the outcome. You already know the victory. It's written. Right? The enemy's desperate. The enemy wants you. What was said to Peter? Son of Jonas, Satan has desired to have thee. Shift you, that he may have you. So what the people are doing, they want you. Satan wants you. So he uses the occult. He uses human traffickers because he wants you. You're looking at it like it's people. It's not just people, it's principalities, brothers. That's controlling these people. It's principalities. And the principalities, guess what they do? They rule over regions and places. And with the principalities, you have what? You have a prince. You have a governor. So they seek to rule over some of these lands and some of these places. That's why it says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. So they have influence over the minds of the masses. That's why you see them acting in a certain way. Because they don't have that God. If you don't have the Lord Yahushua, then demons are jumping on your forehead, using you. Because he's also the prince of the air, right? He's also the prince of the airwaves. So guess what he's doing? Using people. But they don't see it. Some of them do see it. The ones that are part of cults, they see it. Right? They see it. Right? The others, some are unaware of it. A lot of people are unaware how they're being used by demons. Because they're not in the truth. So they just think it's ordinary. What they're doing, they just think it's ordinary.
Hey, you stop preaching. It's very loud.
You see? That's them spirits, man. Them spirits are active. Right? So we can shut off on that. Lord willing, this was edifying. On to the next time. Shalom.